we're going to have a very interesting conversation. This is going to be a discussion, okay? And so I do expect that you jump in, ask questions, you put in questions here and all of that so that we can really discuss. And one good thing about this particular session is that aside the knowledge that you'll be getting, aside the practical tools that you'll be taking home with, there is the chance of getting a 1-month gold subscription based on your engagement, okay? Based on the questions you ask and the responses, or even answering someone's question, right, on the call. So, but you know, there's one thing that you can't do, which is asking your own question and then answering that same question yourself. That doesn't tally up to you getting a 1-month gold subscription. So you can ask questions that goes to add up to your tally. And this is going to be very competitive, right? So Winnie, Isaac, let's take notes so that whoever asks a question, we give 1 point to the person. Whoever answers a question, that person also gets 1 point. So the one of the highest points will be the one to take home a 1-month gold subscription. Is that a fair game?
Yes,
Sure,
please.
Prince.
Yes, please. We got you.
Fantastic. Great. So let me just go ahead quickly and share my screen. Great. Okay. So please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, please. You can see your screen.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So great. Today's workshop is basically talking about pricing to make a profit, right? We are all business owners here. And so pricing is one of the decisions we make all the time. Okay, I can see Akbene with a lot of emojis, very excited and powered up for this. Great. So pricing is one of the decisions that we constantly need to make as a business, concerning the service that we are offering and the products that we are offering. There is no single day that you don't determine how much to sell your product. You need to always have that conversation with yourself, with your team, and then with your customers. And it's important that when you're pricing to make sure that you're not making a loss, but you're making a profit. And so today, the conversation is going to be about how do you price to make a profit, right? But first off, let's take a quick look at a few trends, right? And quotes. So basically, there's a quote from me which says that price is not just a number. It's the narrative of value, the story we tell about what we offer. So when you put a number or a figure to a product that you are selling or to a service that you are offering, you are not just telling the person that this product, this is the price for it. You are describing the value. You're explaining the value that you've attached to that particular thing that you're willing to sell or that you're willing to offer. And the story behind it is what you went through to be able to get that particular product. That is the story behind, right? So all of that fuses in to determine the monetary value behind that particular product. So you don't just price something out of the vacuum. There is a narration of value attached to it. There is a story behind why you think this particular item or this particular cup should cost the price that you are pricing it, right? And you are telling that particular customer that this is the story and this is the value you're associating to this particular product. So that is price. It's not just a number. It's a narrative and it's a story that you're willing to offer, right? So let's just head quickly to a few trends, that are happening, okay, when it comes to certain commodities that we know. So you can see that we have the maize pricing commodity, we have the gari commodity, we have cassava and gari again and all of that. And you can see right from the start, commodity price has been rising or it's been going up, right? It's been going up. And this even ends in July 2023. It's definitely going to be higher if you look at the data as at now. Okay, so prices of things are going up, okay, constantly. Okay, when it comes to maize, when it comes to gari, and that the trend is likely to continue for a bit or for a while. When you also check the apparel business, right? You can see there is a certain kind of trend here from 2021 all the way, and then there's a projection, right? You can see an asymptotic or a gradual rise. It's not clear, but you can see at the price 20, there is a rise of the bar above the line, right? That is also indicative that prices of materials are going up. Okay, they are constantly increasing, and that is very interesting. You also look at fuel. Okay, prices of fuel trend in Ghana is also going up. I searched for fuel trends and that I got for Ghana, but I think Nigeria couldn't really get a statistics that shows the accurate presentation of that. So you can see there has been a trend and an increase of general prices of fuel in Ghana right from when? From 2020 all the way to 2024 April, right? And you and I know very well that fuel is a backbone to determine the general pricing of goods and services in Ghana. If fuel coughs, everyone catches, if fuel sneezes, everyone catches cold, right? So every product catches cold. Every product or services feels an impact on that level. So what does this all mean? What does this all mean? That's the question that we are going to look at. What does this all mean? Right? It is it it tells you that there is an existential threat to businesses. Okay, wherever you are, there is that threat because this means that the disposable income or the money that is in the pockets of your customers, of employees, of the workforce constantly keep shrinking, keep reducing, right? 1,000 cedis a year ago is not the same 1,000 cedis today. Okay. And that means that if your customer used to buy 10 tin cans of milk from you 2 years ago, that same customer is likely not to afford to buy those 10 tin cans of milk today. They'll probably go for either 17 cans or 5 tin cans, right? So the money that you will be getting from your customer will change, it will shrink because of the general and relative increase in price of products and all of that. Or it could also mean that because of the increase in prices, your customers won't be able to afford staying where they are. And so they will move, right? They will move to a less expensive community or environment. And if your customer patronizes your shop, patronizes your services because you are close to them, when they move, the likelihood of you losing that customer is always high. Take, for instance, a barbering shop, right? If you visit a barbering shop, close to your neighborhood, maybe you're in Chado, and then you have a barber that you visit all the time, and the prices of things are going up, you can't afford to really stay where you are, so you move to a different location. I don't want to mention names, else I'll be in trouble. So you move to a relatively inexpensive community. You won't be that comfortable driving all the way or taking a commercial vehicle all the way to come to your barber shop, your original barber shop. You'll find another barber shop around the new community that you are in. And so this means that you have lost the customer, right, as a barber, okay? And your suppliers also, what this also means is that suppliers may increase their retail and wholesale prices. So it changes the whole dynamics and narrative of your product's value or your business engagement with your customers. This is why pricing for a profit really, really matters. Okay, this is the importance why you always need to pay attention to prices because it doesn't just affect your business, it affects your customers, it affects your suppliers, and it also affects the sustainability of your business. So this is a quote from one of my favorite economist that I usually follow, Eric Dolansky. He says that it's important when you are considering your price that you realize it's not for yourself, but for your target customers. Right? So a lot of the time we sit down in our bedroom and look at how much should I put on this particular product? Okay. And we fail to ask the questions. How much is the customer willing to pay for this particular product? Okay. So it's a change of mindset as to how much will this maybe mouse from Oraimo cost me? That from Oraimo can I sell to my customer? That how much is my customer willing to buy this particular mouse from me? So that is the way we should think about pricing. It's always important to consider the target market or the target customer when you're pricing a product. Okay, your core target customer is very, very important because they should inform the decision that you are making. And so on this particular workshop, we're really going to delineate what you should do, what you should look at, what kind of pricing strategies would work for your business. And we are going to brainstorm on a whole lot of scenarios and all of that. Okay. So are you ready for a very good discussion, guys? Let me see. Is there a question for us? Okay, thank you. So this is going to be a very exciting conversation. So let's kickstart. So let's talk about pricing, right? So basically, when someone is asking what's a price, it's like money or other considerations that you exchange for a product. You own a product, you say, hey, give me this, give me money, or give me this, maybe offer me a service, and then I'll offer you this particular product and all of that. Okay, so that's basically a price. And if you're pricing, it's a business strategy that determines the value assigned to a product that a company is offering. So let's just have a discussion right now, right? Let's look at this particular company. In its early days, the founder and CEO of ABC company also acted as a de facto pricing manager, right? As the organization grew, so did the CEO's responsibility, and consequently, the pricing function fell by the wayside. And I think this is very typical of a lot of businesses, even on this particular call, right? When you started, you made a lot of decisions about pricing and all of that, and all of a sudden, you are overwhelmed with so many things, and it's kind of difficult to keep up, right? With how much you should price your products and all of that, because you're doing so many things. You wear many caps as a business owner or as a CEO. So now, in the absence of a coordinated strategy, prices were all over the board. If you have a team, right, the finance department wanted prices to go up, sales wanted to go down, and the marketing was caught in the middle, right? As a result, profit suffered, right? Because the finance department is saying, hey, let's sell this at 100 Ghana cedi. That is how we can remain sustainable. Your sales team is like, you know what? The customers, they can't buy this product at 100 Ghana cedi. Let's give them a discount, maybe 20 Ghana cedi discount, so that they buy it at 80 Ghana cedis, right? And then, the marketing team, where Winnie falls in, and I think this is very typical. She has had this dilemma. She's always in the middle, kind of thought, what should we do? She's listening to this person, she's listening to that person. She's caught in the middle, right? And as a result, profit always suffers. If the sales team member still, sells the product at 80 Ghana cedis, there is a shortfall of 20 Ghana cedis, right? If the finance department insists on 100 Ghana cedis, it's likely that the customer might just bail or decide not to buy or just move on, right? And so all of this usually takes place because of the absence of a pricing policy. But before we discuss pricing policy, show by hands here if you've had this particular dilemma as a business owner. Do we have some people that have had this particular challenge as business owners?
Hello.
Yes, hello. Yeah, please go
I
ahead.
feel like I feel like if I use the hand raising emoji, it will not have the effect that it's supposed to have.
Please go ahead and talk. Go
Because
ahead.
it's my biggest headache right now, pricing and the fact that I know people these days, people don't really have money. Meanwhile, cost of production is so high. For about a month now, I have three of my product lines have stopped producing because I just can't reconcile how much I'm buying the raw materials and then how much I can't price. Like it's I'm just hoping that by the time we are done with this, I'll find a way around it. It's a serious issue.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very realistic challenge that a lot of businesses are having, and I know these are very difficult times because of changes in price of commodities and all of that, and operational costs also going up, right? So it's a bit difficult to find the best fit pricing for your products for you to be able to attract, customers. So we are going to do our best to see how best we can help at a point with some information, and also take it up after this session with you on a one-on-one session to see how best we can practically co-create solutions that can help, okay, going forward. So feel free and bring the questions. We will be answering them as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, Raymond is saying he still has an issue with his microphone. Okay. Sorry about that, Raymond. So this particular CEO, right, is having an issue coming up with a pricing policy, right? Now, it's very typical as a business owner. You start your business, you are kind of like confused if you should have like an affordability pricing policy where, for your products or the services that you're offering, it's priced lower, and so people attach affordability to you. Maybe it could be that like we have companies that do that, that have pricing policies such as Melcom. Melcom is a cost leader company where they buy their products in volumes. And so they are able to get their product at very, very cheap prices. And they have this policy that, their products should be affordable and lesser in price compared to all other shops or all other departmental shops, right, in a country. And with about 18 branches that they have. And I checked this, and the last dates that this was updated on was 2022. As of 2022, they had 18 branches, right? And their strategy has been to have a cost leadership approach where their product is cheaper than any other products in the market space. So you can look at having an affordability pricing policy, or you can look at having a premium service pricing policy, right? Where you offer other services aside, just selling the products, right? So you don't just sell the products, you attach certain value to the products that your competitors are not doing. So we are going to discuss various pricing policies or strategies that you can look at and employ for your business. So I know a lot of us have been in the shoes of the CEO, and it's a very like tight space to be. It's like you're between a rock and a hard place, or the devil and the deep blue sea, right? And so you don't know how to price your product, how to really attach value to your services without losing out on a potential customer that you could get. So let's go to the things that you need to keep in mind when you're pricing a product. It's really important to look at your revenue goals. What is your goal as a company? What do you want to achieve in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, or in the next five years, right? What do you want to, what revenue do you want to accrue in your business? And what marketing objectives do you have, right? approach do you want to adapt when it comes to your marketing? Because if you are using the traditional media, that is TV adverts and all of that, it increases your cost of of goods, because that cost goes to add up to your operational costs, and you need to be able to get enough revenue to defray that cost or to make a profit, right? So the kind of marketing objectives that you have, or the tactics that you approach, also affect your total operational cost, which goes to affect how much you price your product. You also need to look at the most important part, which is your audience, your customer. Who are the customers that you're selling to? Very, very key. Very, very key, right? That is what makes the difference between a Toyota vehicle and a Rolls Royce, right? So Toyota is selling to the mass market. They're selling to household owners and all of that, family car and all. And it's a general purpose vehicle. However, Rolls Royce is priced higher because it's looking at a different segment of customers completely. It's a same four-wheel drive. It drives on the same car, on the same road, but there are certain features that differ between Rolls-Royce and Toyota, right? And so the kind of customer that wants the features in Rolls-Royce is likely to pay higher than the kind of customer that wants just a Toyota to just move around in town and all of that, right? So brand positioning is also key. Competitor pricing is key. Product attributes and trends and cost of goods, and then the price elasticity of demand. Okay, there are certain products that if the price changes small, demand falls. So you need to look at that also. Does your product fall in that particular category? What kind of products are you selling? Okay, what kind of products are you selling? And is your product in such a way that if you increase your price by 1%, but you have like, if you get 100 customers every month, you get like only 50 coming, right? So for such a product, you need to be very careful as to how you change your price. So that's what we mean by price elasticity of demand. Okay. And so it's always important not just to just increase price in the dark. Like you go to bed, you sleep, you have a dream that, hey, I made $1 million, and so the next day you wake up and go like, this is the way I'm going to make my $1 million. Let me increase my prices. No, it's a strategy that you need to follow. You need to look at all of these things and keep that in mind before you price your product. So let's just have a discussion here, right? Let's have a discussion. So when a company increases its price by 1%, profit soars 10%. What do you think about this conversation? Mind you, we talked about a 1-month gold award or reward going to the one that engages the most, asks the most questions, and answers the most questions. But one thing that would not give you your gold subscription is to ask and answer your own question. So about this particular comment, when a company increases its price by 1%, profit soars 10%. What do you think about this?
We have James' hand is up. James's hand.
Oh, great. Yeah, please go ahead and speak.
Okay, so you are talking about profit, and we know that profit, in terms of quantitative calculation, we have price times quantity. So if we are saying that I increase my price by 1% and my profit increased by 10%, meaning that my revenue is driven by price and not quantity, how much I sell. So meaning that I have to focus on building the value of my product such a way that the few clients I get to push my profit margins up.
That's a very good point, James. Thank you for that. That's a very fantastic way of looking at it. You looked at it from the revenue perspective and not the quantity perspective, and that is really excellent. Anyone with a different perspective here? This is a discussion forum. You can even debunk what James said. Let's hear what you have in mind. Anyone?
Yeah, Raymond.
Hi, Raymond. Oh, fantastic. You solved the main problem.
All right, so mine is about the lady who spoke first, say the production has been increased, so she has stopped producing. I think one thing that she can also consider is to get a new set of clients. You know, you may have certain people which can no longer be able to afford your product. That doesn't mean you stop production. You can get a new client so that you can also get a profit on your production. That's my advice to him.
Great. Thanks, Raymond. So you are advising Adam to look at moving away from price-sensitive customers to customers who will buy her product because of the value that they are getting and not just focusing on price. And that's a fantastic idea also. Thanks, Raymond. Thank you. So we have Raymond, we have Selom, we have Adam. These are the three that are leading the board so far. Winnie, Isaac, I believe they would have different points and all of that. So let's keep track on that. Yes. The competition is tight, guys. Anyone that has a different perspective on the quote, when a company increases its price by 1%, profit sells 10%.
Can I come in again?
Yes, James, you can.
Okay, so you realize that the first answer I gave was in the perspective of profit being driven by price. Okay, the second answer would be a market that is not sensitive to price. So let's say, for example, you have the fuel industry. If you increase the price of fuel, no matter what you do, they'll buy. So meaning that when you have a market that is not sensitive to price and you increase price margins, your profit will definitely go up. Even if the demand falls, it will fall by a small margin that wouldn't even affect you. Even if we try to offset it, you will still be making profit margins. So the answer is based on you increasing revenue by price, or also finding a market that is less sensitive to price increase.
Okay, great. So let me just share a screenshot. Thank you so much for that perspective. Let me share my screen. Just a minute.
Also, Prince, in the meantime, Adjoa had a question in the chat. She said,
okay,
should the customer be the one that determines the prices of our products? Thank you.
Okay, so the question is, can the customer or should the customer be the one to determine? Okay, should the customer be the one that determines the price of our products? So there are various pricing approaches that you can adapt, right? We have the cost-based pricing. That one doesn't take into consideration the customer's willingness to pay or even a competition. It's you who bought the product. So if the product costs you 10 cedis, you go like, okay, I paid 10 cedis to acquire this product, and so I'm going to sell it for maybe 12 cedis or 13 cedis. That one, it's called a cost-based approach to pricing your product. So the customer is not even involved at all. So it depends on the kind of business that you are into and the products that you are selling or the services that you are offering. There are certain products that you need to think about what the customer's perspective or what the customer thinks about that particular product. And so the value that they think is associated to that product. And that is called a value-based pricing. So we are going to delineate on that. And I think, Adjoa, you would have to tell us what kind of products you are into so that we disaggregate that as to what kind of pricing policy you should adopt, if you should involve the customer in that process, or if it should be your own sole decision based on data that you've gotten from the market. Okay, so there's no yes or no answer to this particular question, but it's about the kind of business that you're into and the best fit pricing model that works for you. I think we had a hand up, right? It's gone down now. Raymond.
Yeah, that's me, Raymond.
Great,
all right,
great.
I disagree with the gentleman who spoke about fuel prices because no matter what, the fuel prices goes up, you have no reason not to buy. And I disagree. You know, the fuel pumps, they have various prices. Oil now is the leading market. Their prices are higher. Why do people still go to Goy and buy their fuel, but not the other pumps? So it's about what you are giving to your clients. Goy has marketed their business that they tell that their fuel is better than any other pump. So sometimes it's not about like how they're important they're distinct, but it's about how you also market your brand. That is also very important.
Interesting. So it's about the value that you're communicating, right? Okay. So for the sentence that we saw, right, where when price increases by 1%, your profits also goes up by 10%. So let's just look at a little math here, right? So you have an original price. Let's say cost item is 90 cedis, your selling price is 100 Ghana cedi. You know, if you do the math, 100 minus 10, 90, you get 10, right? Now, let's just assume that you increase your price, okay, by 1%. Okay, so in this case, your selling price becomes 101, right? CDs. So if you sell at 101 and the cost price is 90, you get a profit margin of 11. Now, between the 10, the profit margin of 10 and a profit margin of 11, if you do the differentials, it is 10%, right? 10% across board. So imagine you have volumes of products that you sell and you have just 1% increase in price. It will cut across 10% increase in profit. And this is how you also communicate to investors. And for investors to know the price elasticity of your product, that with a 1% increase in my price, I get a corresponding 10% increase in profitability and all of that. But this is this particular conversation about pricing. I think we're going to have another session to really, really talk details about this. But let's just continue with the slides and then we would answer further questions on this. I think I've lost my slide though. Just a minute. Okay. Please confirm if you can see my slides.
Yes, please.
Great, great, great. So what are the 5 most common pricing strategies for profits, right? The 5 most common ones are basically listed here. And as we are describing these 5, the thought process that I would like you to start working on or thinking about is what kind of pricing strategy would work for your business, right? And then after the session, you can bring it in. Let's have a discussion on that, right? Or you can share your thoughts about what you have learned so far and what's the best pricing policy that you should adapt for your business. We would like to also know. So we do have the cost-based pricing, we have the penetration pricing, we have the price skimming, competitive pricing, and then the value-based pricing. So let's just move on to talk about the cost-based pricing. And I think Adam mentioned that they are into production and all of that. And I think Ajwa also said she does probiotic yogurts and all. Now, it costs you something to be able to produce or to be able to manufacture, right? So you determine the price of the product based on how much it costs you, and then you sell for a profit. Okay, so you add a markup so that you can sell. So your cost is always lesser than the price that the product goes out for. Okay, and with cost-based product pricing, you don't really consider what the customer thinks or is willing to pay for the product. This is how much you've invested into it, and so this is how much you're willing to sell it. And you always ignore the competition. Now, cost-based product is very interesting because it depends on the scale that you are doing your production, right? If you have a small scale of production, you can't leverage on economies of scale. You can't leverage on, producing in volumes and producing at a lesser cost. If you're producing small, your cost will always be high. And so your pricing would likely be higher. That is why we have a challenge between China goods versus locally produced goods. China goods are massively produced, and so that the cost of that production is always low if you spread it, across the various units, right? It's always lesser. That's why they're able to price their products lesser than the locally produced goods. And the locally produced goods are produced usually in a relatively smaller quantity, and so the cost is high, right? So, but however, you can look at maybe using a break-even price. So if it costs you, let's say, 2,000 cedis to produce 100 units of an item, right? You can use that as the break-even point. 2,000 Ghana cedis is your break-even point. So you're assuming that if you sell these products, your break-even should be 2,000 cedis, right? And then you determine what customers are willing to pay and the competition will allow. So that median, that space between what the customers are willing to pay and the competition will allow is a sweet spot, right? Where you focus on and price your products. We'll come to cost-based pricing again, because I know most of you are thinking, okay, this is my business. That's based pricing really, really works for me. We'll come to that. Now, penetration pricing, on the other hand, is where a low price is set so that you can enter into the market, and then cause a disruption. With penetration pricing, it's like you're the new kid on the block, right? You want everyone to recognize you. You want everyone to know that, hey, I've arrived and I'm doing this better than all my competitors, and I'm offering to you at a lesser price than all my competitors. So come to me. So you enter into the market at a very low price to draw attention from high-priced competitors. And it's not something that you can maintain for a very long time. It's something that you do for a very short period of time, right? A very short, very, very short period of time, okay? The telecommunication companies that come in usually do this a lot. They come in and then there's low data bundles, there's low airtime, maybe they will even give you high discounts and all of that to draw you in. It's a short-term kind of thing that they do. And then once they get the market share, they increase the prices, right? They increase the prices. So it happens a lot. If you look at maybe even Telecel and all of that, yeah, when they came in, they kind of like gave some huge discounts here and there for people to come on board. Yeah, Vodafone did the same. Other telecommunication companies also did the same and all. And even Glo, right? Yeah, when they came in, they gave you the chance to decide your own phone number at zero cost, right? At zero cost. So if you want a unique phone number that goes with your birthday and all of that, you don't pay a dime. You just follow a certain process and then you get that number, right? So that drew people away from other telecommunication companies to them as well. But as a business owner, you're asking yourself, what kind of penetration pricing can I adapt, right? You can start looking at, okay, what other products do you have that you are willing to lose out on if you want to adapt this penetration pricing? So that product that you're willing to sell at a loss can become your loss leader product, right? So a balanced approach may be to use loss leaders to complement your core product. Okay, you can do that. So for instance, let's say, Raymond, you are into, you're a fashion designer and all of that, right? So you can think of going like, okay, you can do your kaftan. This is the standard price and it matches all the prices across board with my competition. However, if you want to do something like a fugu or something attached to it, or if you want a long sleeve, I can do it at a reduced price for you compared to my competition out there. So you are willing to use long sleeve as your loss leader, right? To be able to gain other sales, okay? So that you can penetrate the market. So penetration pricing is a very strategic way to get more customers into your business at an early stage and then be able to get a higher market share on the run. So right now, let's be thinking, okay, what kind of products can I use to penetrate the market, to draw attention to my business, right? That is called penetration pricing. I think there are some questions here. Okay. Akbeni says, just an add-on to solving Adam's case, she can also focus on working more on POD, points of difference, so that because of the value she offers, the new segmented customer will buy. Her budgets will now be small, so she keeps those products still running. Thanks so much for that. So let's move on to the next ones, right? So we have price scheming now. This is an interesting one because I kind of have a very serious interest on this one. Now, price scheming is basically a strategy when a business charges the highest possible price for any product, right? And then lower the price over time as the product becomes less and less popular. So let's take, for instance, iPhone users. These guys, yeah, they don't let us sleep. They don't give us time to rest. The minute they are using an iPhone, it's like the whole world must hear about them. When iPhone 13 came, right, the price was crazy, right? But now the price has reduced over time, right? Over time. So this particular pricing scheme applies to products in that particular category. Technological products such as game consoles, DVD players, smartphones, and all of that usually use price scheming because they are applied for them to recover the investment that they have made in research and developing the product, right? And so the first time it is launched, the price is really, really high up there. And then over time, when the product, becomes less and less popular, the price reduces. So the first phase, the price is highest when the product launches. The second one is it's lowered a bit when competition enters the market. So you could see that the minute Samsung released a competitive product to the iPhone 13, the price of iPhone 13 started reducing just a little bit, right? Samsung came up with the phone. I've forgotten the model name, but it had great pictures, cameras and all of that. Let me see. Did someone help out with that? So you could see that price scheming applies here. And it happens also for products like PS5 and then PS4 and all of that. 2 years ago, the price of PS5 was so high. Today, the price has reduced. So over time, these kinds of products, reduces in value. Okay. So as a business owner, you should be thinking, what kind of products do I have? What kind of service do I have? Is this so unique or so different in the market space that I can do a price scheming, right? Charge the highest possible price. And then over time, as new businesses are also selling the same product or similar products, then I reduce my price accordingly. So those are the thought processes that you should be asking yourself. And I really want you to take a serious look into your business right now and ask yourself these questions. Should I adopt a cost plus or a cost-based pricing? Should I adopt a penetration pricing or a price scheming, right? Now, let's also move on to the next bit where we have the competitive pricing. Now, competitive pricing basically means, you're focusing on what the competition is offering out there, right? And deciding to use that as a benchmark. And usually this is a very, saturated market and all of that. So you should be thinking about like your product or the kind of business that you're running. Are there other businesses out there so saturated that if a customer doesn't buy from you, they'll just move on, to the next customer there, right? A typical example is like you go to Agbogbloshie, right, to buy maybe a shoe or something, and you see a trio of shoe sellers and all, and they are all selling similar shoes and all of that, right? But there are certain price differences over there, and you can talk to one particular vendor. Their price might be, let's say, 90 cedis, and then you move on to the next vendor. Their price is probably like 92 Ghana cedis, and then you move on. You are negotiating with all of them. They are selling at those prices, and then it gets to to a particular place and you're selling it to you at 89 Ghana cedi, and you go like, okay, I can save 1 cedi if I were to buy from the first vendor, or I can save 3 cedis if I had gone ahead to buy from the second vendor and all of that. So that is a competitive pricing. And usually these kinds of vendors are basically saturated. Okay, so you can price your product either slightly below competition or the same as your competition. Okay, so that is called competitive pricing. You need to look at the environment that you are within. If your business is in such a way that anyone, any customer anywhere can move on to the next customer, and then you find a way to competitively price your product so that if a customer comes to you, they stay with you like a web. You catch them and they stay with you, and then they do business with you, right? Any questions so far? Okay. Then the next bit is
I have something to add.
Pardon?
Okay, I wanted to add something.
Yes, Eden, please go ahead.
Give an example, but I think after seeing this slide, it's looking a bit like this was what I was, but let me go ahead. So for me, I do spices. I do natural spices and all that. And my biggest competition is what's the name? Miss Cookie, Spice by Miss Cookie. They are really big. And you spoke about economics of scale. Obviously, they are so big, so their cost of production per unit way lower. I can't compete with price for them. I can't. I can't. So what I do is that I add some value to mine which they don't have. All right. For instance, most of their sizes are smaller, so I do the very big sizes. And then also I give customers the option of how do you want your thing packaged? Do you want a pouch? Do you want in a bottle? How do you want, let's say, something like fish powder? How do you want it? Do you want it extra smooth, or I should just do the rough one because it's for shit? Or things like that I know. Obviously, my other competitors, maybe just a few are doing that. Because sometimes if you want to follow competitive pricing, you can't, you don't have that kind of muscle power to do that. Yeah. So that's what I do now.
Fantastic. And that's a very good approach, Adam. That is a very fantastic approach because for me, my favorite kind of pricing is usually value-based pricing. And I believe that's what you're doing, because what value-based pricing helps you to do is you need to really, really understand your customers at the core. You need to be in their head, and you need to make sure that they know what you're offering them is different from what is out there. And so they are willing to pay extra for that price, right? Or for that product. They are willing to pay extra for that particular product or services that you're offering. What value-based pricing really does is you're not just selling a product, you're also selling expertise, right? You are selling a value that is different from like the usual production of products. What the big companies do is, and they do well, is because they are big, they produce and the price is low. But it's a general purpose kind of production. And so it's not really customized to meet the ideal expectations of the customer. But value-based pricing helps you to fulfill that customization for the customer, and then they will be willing to pay extra for that, right? And I know for small businesses, it's a lot of work. It requires you constantly being in contact with your customers. However, the beauty about that is after a while, you are able to build a brand, right? You are able to build a brand. And that brand becomes recognized by your customers who will refer you to their friends and family. And then before you know it, you have a reputation of selling a product at a value-based price, not because it's a product that they can get anywhere, but because of the additional value that they are getting from you. And so they'll be willing to pay extra. Yeah, so we'll talk extra more on the value-based product also. So thanks for that, Adam. Really good contribution. Guys, looks like now we have Adam and Raymond taking the lead. Yeah, who wants the 1 month gold subscription? This one is a hot cake. This one is a hot cake. Right after this session, we'll tally the engagement, and in less than 24 hours, you're getting a 1 month gold subscription. So if you are here, please jump in. Yeah, James' hands is up, Raymond's hands is up, and all. That's fantastic. So let's move on, right? So the next bit that I want us to talk about is the value-based pricing, right? So it's a strategy where, but first off, before we go to value-based pricing, I forgot to bring this thing up. About 4 years ago, we had an issue of price scheming in Ghana here for a particular product, at least 2 or 3 products, but one product really was dominant in terms of the price. When it was needed, the price was really, really high. And then at a point, it just dropped. Who could tell me what that particular product was? Anyone?
No smarts.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, it was no smarts, right? You realize that when, good, that's the second product, hand sanitizer and all. And then the next one will be the vitamin C, tablets and all. So we have Gloria, we have Alma, great.
Oh, I received you.
Pardon?
Raise my hand. You haven't called me.
Oh, James, please go ahead. Sorry. I apologize.
I'll let you bring some wine. You perform some rites, traditional rites.
Sorry. Yeah, please go ahead, James.
Okay. So basically I've done economics to the core, and I relate it to most of my businesses, and it helps a lot. So the concept is that there are 3 factors that determines your profit: your price, your quantity, and your cost. So based on the pricing policy you gave, you have to determine your price, you have to determine your quantity and your cost structure. Based on this one, you know which one is fit for you. So I'm into poultry production, broilers to be precise. And what I realized is that there are a lot of chicken on the market. They import a lot of chickens, and the price is very low on the market. So what I did was that, okay, I decided to incorporate organics in the rearing of the chicken, and I realized that in the Ghanaian culture, we want chickens that are large in size. And when you go to the restaurant, they also want chickens. They buy chickens based on weight. So how do I serve these 2 markets? One is buying based on size. One is buying based on weight. Then I decided to incorporate organics in it, and also to improve the taste. So here you realize that I've increased the value of the product. So I was selling to them at a premium price. And I wasn't selling to them based on features. I was just giving them the results. So once I tell you the results of the product, it's easy for you to buy in because you can relate to it. But when I tell you features, it's like features. Some of the clients can't relate with the features. But when I give you the results of the product, what other people are saying about my product, about the chicken, then you realize that they keep on, oh, Charlie, can you reserve 5 for me? Can you reserve 10 for me? Can you reserve? I realize that, wow, interesting. Even though the price is higher, they were selling around Xmas seasons around. Some were selling 110, others were 150. I was selling it 200 cedis, and people were buying 250. They still buy because of the value associated with the product. So every business have to determine, how will I make profit? Do I need to produce in quantity to make profit? If that is the case, then you're making profit based on quantity. The meaning that your aim is to reduce costs and to produce more. Then with that aim, you'll be able to make much profit. But if it is about price, focus on the little clients you have, increase the price, focus on them, and they'll buy, and you also make your profit. That is it. That is what I wanted to add to Adam's point of view.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, James. This is really exciting. I'm really excited we are all participating in this. This is fantastic. So I think we've really discussed even the value-based pricing ahead of the slide, where you look at the perceived value to the customer rather than the production cost or the prices of customers, right? And so for this particular one, as James said, right, he had to engage with the customers and let them know what value they'll be getting. Okay, and so with that, the customer is able to know that, okay, they are getting extra than what is out there. You'll be willing to pay for that, right? And what works when it comes to value-based pricing is you need to constantly be in touch with your customers. You need to know what they want, and you need to ask them. So I think, and James, please do correct me if I'm wrong, is that one of your sales pitch on that could be the nutritional value and the health impact that they would get if they are going for an organically grown, chicken versus what is out there. And I think everyone is thinking about their health lifestyle also. And so buying, or paying extra for a little, for a product will be an easy way of pricing a product, right? So you set prices based on the customer interest and the data that you have received, right? So one of the best things that organizations that excel when it comes to value-based pricing is that they look at the value management or the creation of the products and communicating that product or the value of that product to their customer. So if you want to succeed as a business under value-based pricing, you constantly need to communicate. You need to be a salesperson. You need to be talking, right? And when you are delivering also, as Eden mentioned, right? She will ask about how you want the packaging, how you want, its design and all of that. That is the after sales service. And it's part of the value that you are adding. Now, you may get some customers, right? You may get some customers that want you to still reduce your price for them, right? Though you are looking at really offering value. These are price sensitive customers. Look, they are not your core customers. That is the bottom line. They are not your core customers. And so if you get a customer like that comes your way, make sure that there are certain alterations to the products that you're offering. You need to let the customer know, okay, if you want it at this particular price, against my advice, right? Based on this ABCD that I've shared with you, you may have to come to the shop to pick up the products yourself. So you don't offer that extra value that you would offer someone that will actually go for the original value-based pricing of your product, right? Or you could say, I can give you this much because of this arrangements that you want and all of that. So these are things that you can do. And usually when you go that way, right, that particular customer will eventually decide to go for that original price that you are selling to them because they want a full package, right? They are going to look at the stress that they would have to go through to be able to come and pick up the product and other things that you would have offered to them that they are likely to lose. So to be able to do this effectively, you have to get inside your customer's head. And getting close to your customer is the single most critical factor when it comes to value-based pricing. Critical factor. You can't do value-based pricing successfully without being constantly in touch with your customers. So let's just do an exercise here, right? Let's just do an exercise here. So developing a value-based pricing strategy. We are all going to look at how, as a business, we can develop a value-based pricing strategy. So let's go ahead and pick a product that we have in our business. And then let's just assume, or maybe you can even call a customer right now, or maybe you have some data on what your customer is willing to pay for it. Then find out what your product is different. Like find all the ways that your product is different from the comparable product out there. And then you put a financial value on all these differences. Okay, add everything that is positive and subtract anything that is negative, and then make sure that the value to the customer is higher than your cost. Now, you would have to also demonstrate to the customer why the price will be acceptable, which includes talking to them. And James mentioned that he's been doing that, talking to these customers, and he's able to even sell it at 200 cedis, though the prices out there is like 110, and that's a 90 Ghana cedi difference. Imagine that. That's a 90 Ghana cedis difference, all because you got close to your customer, you spoke to your customer, right? It's about the reputation, and usually when it comes to value-based pricing, the customer is not just buying your products. The customer is buying your expertise, right? The customer believes you as an authority in what you are selling, and so you know more about it, and you can tell them what they should get. Okay, so if there's an established market, also the current price range will be to help them, educate, that. So I think let me start with, let's say, taking Raymond's business as an example, right? And basically just an intro. And I want you guys to think about it this way, that assuming I am the business owner, and a customer comes in, and I just introduce myself and say, hi, yeah, my name is Raymond. I'm the fashion designer here, and I have over a decade of experience in designing outfits for both men and women for corporate and personal use. And I'm very excited to help you choose the best product for your business, for yourself. So immediately you create an authority figure that you know what you're talking about, because you have over a decade's experience. You're also a fashion designer, and this is you. Even if the customer doesn't buy the product or doesn't get your service, they will still leave and have that memory of you. And that in the future, if they want anything, they will come to you as an authority figure, right? That's basically how to approach value-based pricing also. So let's just think about this. Let's take a moment, 1 minute, 2 minutes, pick a product, find all the ways that a product is, and then attach a financial value, and then make sure that you communicate. So we will be your audience, we'll be your customer. Tell us as to how much that particular product is going for. And make sure that when you're introducing yourself, you also introduce yourself as an authority figure. So let's give everyone 1 minute and let's come back. Hi, Patricia. So we are trying to develop a value-based pricing for our products, and the activity is to pick a product that is comparable to yours and find out what customers are willing to pay for it. And then we also talk about how different that product is from the competition, and then put financial value on all the differences. Okay, add everything that is positive and everything that is negative, and then subtract anything that is negative, and then communicate that to your customer, right? So we are trying to find a way of how we can approach a customer and let them know the value that we are putting on our product, and getting them to go ahead and buy that particular product. Okay, so James is saying I should mention names. Okay. Are you guys ready? Anyone? Any volunteer? Before I start mentioning names. Hey, James. Yeah, James is mentioning something. Yeah, do you have a Sandra on the call? Sandra, I think you need to find out why James just did this one to you. Sandra, yeah, would you like to share? Hello, can you guys hear me? Yes, please go ahead, Sandra.
Hi, James. Yeah, so I'm still thinking. I'm still thinking because
Oh, you
I
have a
deal
nice voice and you were hiding it. Ah.
I deal in frozen food, so I'm still trying to think about how to frame my yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for how long have you been in this business, please?
For close to 5 months.
5 months.
Yeah,
Okay.
so 5, 6 months. It's fairly new. I think I even need to contact James. He just mentioned he sells files, and I'm trying to partner with someone for fresh local files. So I'm sure we'll talk after
Okay.
that. Maybe that's why he's mentioning my name. Yeah.
But I usually use Celum, so most people know me by Celum. So
Okay.
when you check the picture, that's my.
Pardon?
I'm usually known as Celum.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So so Sandra,
Yeah.
what kind of frozen foods do you sell?
Okay. So I have the seafood, that's the squid, the shrimps, the prawns. I have the fish, like different ranges of fish. I have the salmon, the red snapper, foreign mackerel. I have frozen chicken. I have the various frozen chicken products, the wings, the back, the leg quarters. So frozen food, basically just frozen vegetables and all that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. And are these products that are imported or they are locally sourced?
Okay, so these are imported. Yeah, they're imported products. But
Okay.
then, so for my fish, I try my best to get local products. So I source them from the harbor. So as the local fishermen are bringing in their catch for the day, then I source from the market women at the harbor. So just by the seashore. Yeah. So for the shrimps and the fish, I do my best to get the fresh ones. But for the salmon, the chicken products, those are all frozen imported ones.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I know that you've been in business for 5 months, but let's just assume a potential customer walks in your door, right? And
Oh, you can ask. My mom has actually been in this business on a much larger scale for over 30 years. So let's
okay.
talk. Yes,
Okay.
I have the experience. Yeah.
So you have the experience. So you've been doing this business, even right from, time that you could walk or something like that.
Yeah, even before I was born. So
That's
I
great.
like to joke around that I have over 30 years of experience because
There you
even
go.
before I was born, my mom has been doing this. I was born, I saw her doing this. So yes, yeah.
There you go. There you go. So you lead with that, right? You lead with that and talk about the fact that you have over 2 decades of experience in frozen food management, and you import high products such as seafoods, different kinds of fish, and then and frozen chickens. And when it comes to this, you have this and that and that and that. And you would advise the customer to choose this particular product depending on what the customer wants. So you first of all start off as first of all lead as an authority, and that is a value that sticks in the head of the customer. I've gone to places where I buy a shoe, right? I'm not really great in terms of determining what kind of leather is good, what kind of leather is bad. And based on conversation that I have with the person that I'm buying from, I take the word of the person as a gospel truth, right?
Okay.
And that becomes value that I'm willing to pay extra for because I'm getting an education even from the start, right?
Yeah.
And I'm adding that to my knowledge bank as a customer. And so when it comes to me buying a shoe again, you'll be my first point of contact, right? That is the value. And it's not like maybe I just walk in and say, okay, I'm buying chicken, then you go like, okay, this one is 10 Ghana cedi, this one is 20 Ghana cedi, this one. No. You engage the customer and find out what is the best fit product that they can go home with, right?
Yeah.
Great. Anyone wants to share? Yeah, James is listing people's names. Let's take one more person. Then we move on because I think we are left to 14 minutes. Amma, yeah, do you want to talk or share your points as well?
All right, if Amma is not ready, let me share something small.
I'm
Okay,
ready.
Raymond, please go ahead.
Okay, I think Amma is ready, so she can go.
Yeah, please go ahead, Amma. Go ahead.
It is
Okay,
becoming
so in all
tensious.
honesty- Hello.
Hi, Amma. Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
In all honesty, okay, let me just give like an overview of what I am into. I am a gift concierge. So the value that I add is that the boxes that I make, the boxes for the packaging are made from scratch. So depending on the size of the item, the boxes are made to fit the item. And then the other thing too is that I get the person's name, like the recipient's name on the box. So the whole value is the personalization.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, Amma. Sorry. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So the value that I add to the whole business is the personalization and then the customization. So while I do have like a set of items that I usually share on my catalog, I'm also open to a new concept from the client. So that's pretty much what I do. I started in February of this year, and it's been more of cost-based pricing because every order is unique, and I don't usually get like one person placing say 3 orders at a go. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. So I don't really know how exactly I am going to incorporate the value-based pricing per se. I don't know if that makes sense.
Great. So that's a very unique scenario. So one thing about pricing is that you don't necessarily need to have one that fits all kind of pricing approach for your business. You can have a variation of a cost plus or cost-based pricing versus value-based pricing, right, in there. So you would see that certain businesses have a mix, right? So for you, I think there is an element of value-based pricing also plus cost-based pricing, right? Because you need to buy the materials and all, and you need to make sure that the time that you are attaching to it, you get the profit or you get, to make some income out of that and all of that. So I think it all comes down to the fact that you are co-creating the package, the experience of a gift with your customer, and it's customized. It's not mass produced, right? And the fact that your gift, your concierge also adds some graphic tags to what you're offering, right? So you can have a mix of that. I think we have a hand up.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon. I've been enjoying the contributions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I can hear you. Yes. So, Prince, I'm enjoying the contribution and everything that I'm learning. And I just came in because of the last part you brought in about having the mix. As in, most people do the mix with the cost base and also the cost base and then pricing to make profit. I just want to tickle our minds a little bit. In the mix, what I do is, in my cost, I also try to reduce the inputs that I used, as in my cost-based prices. vis-a-vis the competition to set up pricing. And that gives me a very good margin, like those who are also buying. For example, like James was saying, or Cello, in the poultry industry, I also do farming, but I do mixed farming. So I do crops and then many other things, both livestock and poultry. I had some few acres of land in addition to the farm. And what I did was I started planting my own corn. So it was like I reduced the cost of my feed too, because I also learned how to prepare feed to feed my animals. So I reduced the cost over there, and then I made it up. So like if you come to the competitive pricing, I could always be there. But then I was making my margin behind there with the reduction in my cost of production. When it comes to premium pricing too, I always contacted my clients, and then it's like, I do this myself. I know what I'm putting into the animals. And so this is the results you are getting. And this is how it can be done. So with a mix, like you were saying. So what I wanted to tickle our minds on was also to also think about the cost base in making more profit, not just pricing after your cost. But if the competition is this way and this is the cost, like maybe in poultry, we are all buying feed at a particular price. And so people are pricing differently. If there's a way of making sure that your feed cost is down, it gives you a leverage. It gives you a leverage.
Yeah. So that's a very fantastic input.
So
yeah, that's a very fantastic input.
You can also look at your cost base issues, see how you can reduce your cost, and then you can also push it up to making money. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roger, for that input. That's really fantastic. So what Roger is talking about is also called backward integration, where he decided to own a section of the inputs that he needs for his business. And this is a very classical case of a company that did that in Ghana is Unilever, right? They are into the production of soap and all of that. And you need palm oil to be able to, which is a very essential ingredient in the production process of soap. They used to buy from palm farms, right? And all, but the cost was always high because they are buying from other sources. So what they did was they decided to acquire their own land and do a plantation of palm kernels, like, palm trees. And they now started harvesting those palm oils on their own lands, which reduced the cost of their products, right, significantly. We do have a business owner that is also on Oze that did something similar like that. He was designing, and I've not asked his permission, so I can, mention his name, like the business name, is that he designed key holders, customized key holders, put your name on it, bow ties and all of that. And he was doing that, buying the wood and taking the wood to the printing press and getting it printed, and then he would give it to the customer. And the difference of the cost he incurred buying the wood, going to print it, cleaning and all of that was his profit, right? But now he owns machines that print on the product that he sells. He was able to acquire that over time, and that has reduced significantly his operational cost and all of that. So when you are also looking at cost-based pricing, I think it's also important to look at how you can reduce your cost so that you can beat the competition out there. I think we are really, really out of time. There's so many hands coming up, but let me just run through some of my slides, and we'll have a final conversation again. So 5 ways in which you can, in which successful prices differentiate themselves is you need to have a growth mindset, right? You need to think about growing your business over time, okay? And as I mentioned about can a 1% price increase have a 10% profitability? You need to start thinking about that. if you increase your price by this, how much would you be able to grow, right? So the growth mindset is always very, very, very key, because you're thinking into the future and consistently deliver more value. Look, if you're not delivering more value, customers will not be willing to buy from you at the price that you're offering. So more value is the key. The more customers see that you're adding, soft life to their existence, they'll be able to pay. They'll be willing to pay for that, right? And price strategically, not opportunistically. Look, there are certain businesses that they put a price on their products, right? And then when you go to their shop and the assistant is the one that the assistant will be telling you that this is the price. And then you call the owner and the owner says, okay, oh, the fano, maybe let's say 50 Ghana cedis. The shop owner is willing to give you 10 Ghana cedi off and all of that. When you're doing that as a business, it looks good in the short run and all of that, but you are actually encouraging price-sensitive customers in your business, and in the long run, it will go against you, because 10 cedis for 100 customers is a huge amount of money that is, leaving the table. So do not be opportunistic as a business. Have a price, policy, and stick to that price policy. And you will focus more also on your core customers. Your core customers would appreciate the value that they are getting from your product. And delve deeply into the competition, right? You need to understand your competition out there and don't engage in price wars. No one wins in a price war if you're a business owner, right? You need to be a diplomat and not a general. The idea is that in a price war, it's the customer that actually benefits. You and your competitor don't benefit. You keep losing, but the customer is always excited about that. And so find ways to diplomatically communicate that this is the price, and not be a general and say, hey, let's just keep reducing prices against our competitions and all of that. You'll lose out eventually. You'll burn out. And make sure that pricing is a process. It's not a one-day kind of thing. You need to continually iterate your pricing and have a policy in doing that, right? It's a process. It's a journey. And do that in collaboration with people that are surrounding your business and are serious partakers in your business activities, right? So basically, these are the 5 ways in which successful prices differentiate themselves. I think there was a pricing model based on your business that I wanted us to look at. We have 2 more minutes, but let's just run through and then take some few questions. So you can see that for a restaurant pricing model, a cost plus pricing, a value-based pricing, and a premium pricing works for them. So a mix of that works. For event pricing model, you can look at a competition and a value-based pricing, right? So you can look at how much event organizers charging and what other extra thing can you add to make that experience of organizing an event for someone, right? Exciting, stress-free, soft life, very memorable experience. So all of that, the things that you would add to make that interesting or exciting is called a value-based pricing, right? And then servicing, also like service pricing model, that's hourly and all that. We didn't talk about that. But when it comes to educational pricing model, you can look at how much school fees is going for at various schools, how much are you paying your staff, electricity, work and all of that, and then the value that you're adding to it, like what extra that you're producing and all of that. So you can have a blend, right? There's no one fixed pricing policy. You can have a blend, but you should know the blend, the kind of blend that you're implementing in your business, right? And then we have the e-commerce pricing model and all of that. So with this, I want us to be thinking critically that what is your business pricing model, and do you think these options applies to it? You don't need to answer this question, but I think we have some hands up. Roger, do you want to say something?
Sorry, I think it was the first hand that was up.
Okay. Okay, great. So I think we have a question from Patricia. Patricia, so mixed pricing, value and on different company products because I'm unable to do that on one product. Yes. So you don't need to have like mix, like you can have different kinds of pricing models depending on the products that you have and all of that. Okay, you can have that. That is also acceptable. We'll definitely make the slides available for you. However, we are going to look at people that answered or asked questions the most, and we'll choose the one person to get a 1 year gold subscription. Now, I know.
I have a question.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, then. It's just that we're out of time. That's why.
Yeah,
Please go ahead.
yeah. So quick one. So typical situation, I supply my products to supermarkets, and obviously because you are doing a wholesale supply, they want a lower cost compared to how much you retail it to other people. Times 3 months before they pay, 2 months, 3 months, etc. So inflation, etc. By the time they give you your check, your raw materials, everything has gone up, and it's like there's not really any value for you. So how do you do the pricing in such a situation?
Okay, that's a good question. So, yeah, do you have like a take or a pay policy with them? Yeah, for instance, I take and pay, right? So they take and then they sell and then they pay you, right?
And mostly them it's just about the number of weeks. As in, I usually give them 6 weeks, but they end up sometimes not all the supermarkets, but some of them.
Okay, so this is very key, right? Yeah, one thing about pricing policy is you need to know how much you are willing to give your product off to wholesalers and be able to make profit. So what I know that some companies that do, I used to work at APP, and booksellers will come and say, hey, take my book and sell for me. And usually their pricing is a bit lower compared to the retail price, right? However, they have a policy. It depends on what you want to achieve. It depends on your goal. So your goal could be that you want to get markets for your business. You want to push your brand out there using these shops, right? And that's what people that do take or pay focus on. They're not looking at really making profit because they are not directly selling the product, to their customers. They're selling it through, there is a word for it, forgotten. They put it on the shelves of other shops and then sell. So you need to ask yourself, what is your goal? Is it profit or is it a brand positioning, or you want to get more attention on your product? If it is profit, then it's important to price your product in such a way that even after 3 months, you'll still be able to make X profit on it, right? So you look at the trend of your price and say, okay, in 3 months' time, you're expecting your product to be at this price. And so you add a little markup to cover that, price increase in the market so that you can actually make some money out of it. If it is brand positioning, you look at, okay, I'm just interested in using your outlet to push my brand, to get more customers out there, to get to know my product. And at a point, you will increase your price, right? So you need to look at if it's a penetration approach that you want to use, or you are interested in a cost price approach. So it's very, very key here. Okay. So I think, Adam, we are going to need to have another session with you and then really sit down and assist you to find the best course of pricing for your business. I was going to say earlier on that for anyone that is on this call who goes ahead and subscribes for a 1 month gold package, right? Anyone that does that within the next 72 hours, that does that, we're going to have a masterclass session, and it's limited to only 10 slots. 10 slots. So if you go for a 1 month gold subscription within the next 72 hours, we will have a masterclass session with you, a virtual roundtable, and have a practical, hands-on conversation about pricing for profit. And we're going to use your business as case study, look into how you're pricing your product, and then co-create a policy with you going forward. So this is going to everybody. Aside the one person that's going to get the free one gold, you'll be part of it. So you'll be the 11th person. So there's slot for only 10, but the 11th person will be the one getting the free gold subscription. If you go for a 1-month gold subscription right now, within the next 72 hours, we'll have a masterclass session. It's not paid for. You are getting a free masterclass session aside your gold subscription for 1 month. And then we would actively work with you to come up with a pricing policy that works for you and your business. We'll definitely make the slides also available. I really appreciate your time, and let's continue this also on a practical level. Thank you very much, everybody. Winnie, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Prince. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can show Prince some love by clapping, by sending emojis. Thank you, guys. And thank you to each and every one of you that contributed. Prince, please, the winner for today, I don't know if you'll be announcing that. Isaac. Hello, Prince.
Yes. Let's go ahead. You can announce that if you have the outcome. Please go ahead and announce.
I think Isaac, please, who's our winner for today?
Yeah, so our winner for today was James, and followed by James with 5 points, Adam followed by 3 points, Raymond 2, Akpenet 2, Sandra 1, Amma 1, and then Roger 1.
Hey, where's that?
Wow, fantastic. So James is our 1 month gold subscriber. Today.
No, but I had someone different too, so I don't know.
Really, if you mention a name, you cause confusion.
I know. So please just give all of them 1 month gold, babe. But
okay, so,
I think we have Prince, I don't know if you can tell them about the AFDB.
I think I'll leave it to Isaac. Isaac,
yes,
feel free to jump in here to explain that, please.
Yes, so thanks, Prince and Winnie. So as part of our
I have a question.
Hi, hello.
Yes, so how many months subscription?
It's 1 month.
Can we do it 1 week and I'll split?
I was going to ask Selom if he'll be willing to give his 1 month gold subscription to Sandra, and that happens.
I will gladly do that.
Hey, the scores, I didn't hear the marks. I didn't even hear my name.
Yeah, I know, and then was high, so I don't know what's happening, Isaac, but okay.
Hey, Isaac, are we fighting?
Oh, we are not fighting. Oh, I mentioned your name.
Okay. Oh, yeah, honestly, I didn't hear my name.
There's a bigger thing that is coming, and
yes.
even it has a loaded subscription package compared to what we are giving on our session. So we are partners with we have partners in Guinea and Benin in the name of Dare to Innovate. So there's a project we are currently running. It's a training on business resilience, and we are having an online session. It's a self-paced online session, pre-recorded, on cash flow management, emotional resilience, and then channel diversification. So cash flow management teaches you how to manage your books with the Oze app. And then the emotional resilience is giving you insights on how to bounce back as a business when you're hit by unforeseen tides in the economy. And also the channel diversification is throwing light on how you can create different avenues to sell your products. So this is actually a program that is running in Ghana, Guinea, and then Benin. And the most exciting part is that you get a certificate after completion, and then ultimately you give you a 6-month gold package. So I'll put the link in. Please hold on. I'll put the link.
Isaac, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, hello.
Yes, so I took a course and I got 6 month gold subscription.
Yeah.
So meaning that the 1 month I can give it out, or I have to add it to be 7 months.
Oh, the thing is that you can't add it. Once you have your 6 months already, then it means that if you're adding the 1 month to your package, your 1 month will override the 6 months. So you compare the two. Which one do you like?
So I'll take the 6 months and I'll give the 1 month to Sandra.
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. But I also took
That's nice.
I also took the training and got the 6 months. So I think I'll pass it on to, is it Elo? The lady who does the what's her name?
Is it
The one who
Ellen?
does the spices.
Spices. I think that's
Okay. I appreciate that, but you see, I'm also almost done with the course. So what happens if I
Oh,
get
then you also get the six.
This is getting exciting. I
Oh,
didn't
wow,
expect this.
lovely. Okay.
Oh, but that course was really
I'm
insightful. A big
available. I'm
thank you
available.
to Oze.
Raymond is
A big thank
available.
Raymond,
you.
okay,
Oze,
so
thank you.
I'm dropping the link in there, and you can go through
I'm
for
also
those
here.
who have completed. I'm sure by next week we'll start distributing the certificates to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because
so you
I'm
can.
going to get the certificate. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
but
can.
thank you very much for that class. It was really
Oh, we're always grateful. We're always grateful. Thanks for participating as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Isaac.
Vanessa says she's also available.
Yes, so Vanessa is
Yeah, so
available.
the link is in there, and
Yes.
if you're facing any challenge with using the app, you can reach out to us, and we'll be able to assist you.
And also, I
Thank you.
posted the links for our.
Side. Maybe no more no more.
I posted a link for our WhatsApp group. So please, if you'd like to join, I'll be sharing the recap there. So kindly join the group if you are not.
Yeah. Time
We
in
have
my
one for
client, but
Ghana, and we have one for Nigeria as well. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your contributions. And I would like to end the session now. Have a wonderful week and see you next time on the next workshop session. Goodbye.